The reason Netflix is ruining all your favorite anime is because they don't understand this one simple fact. Stories are never about the things that happen. They are about the characters those things happen to. The best live-action anime ever made, the stage production of Steins Gate, understands this perfectly. Let's take a look.
最近ね、オカリンと話しする時間ちょっと減っちゃった。幸せだった10年間。もう夢から覚めなくちゃね。
さあどうするクリスティーナ。
だからティーナってつけるな。
悪かったなザ・ゾンビよ。
You'll notice these scenes have just as much weight as in the anime, if not more. That's not to say they weren't changed at all. Of course they were. It's just that the writers and the producers and everyone involved understood the story they were in charge of. Weird concept, Netflix. So what is changed? First, we need to talk about the centerpiece of the stage itself. It is a work of genius. Most of the story takes place in just a couple locations. The lab, the radio building, the shrine, that's most of it. Most of the story is just characters talking. Again, this is all you need for a good story. That's not to say that a boring set is really going to cut it for a story like Steins Gate. But the thing that Netflix doesn't understand is anything you change should add to the story, not distract or, dear God, subtract from it. And boy, does this one ever do a good job of that. The stage with the lab and the computer spins, which is so simple but adds so much dynamism to the performance. When Okabe goes all full mad scientist and the music starts and the dancers come in and the lights start flashing, oof, hits you good. It's like, yeah, this is 3D, and yeah, this is still Steins Gate, and yeah, it's fucking awesome, dude. Because what the stage never does is stand out on its own. Instead, it helps focus the action on Okabe, which is exactly what a good stage should do. And then the stage just adds this extra bit of tension in scenes like when they start creating the Gel Nanas. The stage spins just like the microwave, which helps build the Gel Nana revelation, and it hides Okabe's hands, letting him switch the bananas with the Gel Nana. It's such a simple touch, but it really just adds this extra bit of magic that wouldn't be there otherwise. Then there's the time machine. It's just a box with a door that they step in and out of, but as every kid with a cardboard box can tell you, buddy, this is a time machine, and its constant presence at the side of the stage serves as this anchor to the plot and a constant reminder that this is the key to the story. There's neat touches like the curtains that give a grandiose feel to the story and lets them project the occasional background or cell phone screen. There's the little gachapon machine that rolls in at the side. There's 3 different levels to give more range to the characters' interactions. Then there's this little gap in between the 3 levels. It's a really small thing, but it adds so much life to the stage. When Kurisu is stabbed, they transition away with her rolling into the stage. When they have the flashback about carrying the IBM 5100 to the lab, they throw it into the hole, and then the spotlight shines onto the IBM computer sitting above it. When Okabe enters the Steins Gate, he pops out of the hole to find the light stick sitting there for him. Basically, the rotating lab and the hole in the stage help focus the action by creating just a little bit of movement. There's all these little things that are so well thought out that help bring Steins Gate to life, and I could go on and on about each and every one of them, but now let's talk about the music. Because besides the 2 main songs, Hacking to the Gate and Skyclad Observer, which are played repeatedly because they're fucking awesome, it makes good use of almost every Steins Gate song, like the one from My Darling's Embrace, which they turn into an idol dance featuring Daru, and it's just mwah, like, oh. Making this so musical is easily the biggest departure from the original, but it works so well because they clearly understand the story they're working with. Netflix. On stage, you don't have the luxury of animation or special effects, so what do you have instead? You have music and dance. Of course, we have the big powerful dance numbers like Hacking to the Gate. Again, fucking awesome. But also the way they use music and dance to give emotion and weight to so many little scenes is nothing short of genius. In the scene where Mayuri speaks to her grandmother's grave, the piano is heavy yet gentle as the dancers in black lift her down to the lower stage, giving her this holy, angelic presence. When Suzuha gets into the time machine, they use this nostalgic theme from the ending of Linear Bounded Phonogram. When the time machine disappears and Okabe is frantically searching for it, the dancers in black crowd the stage and this upbeat techno track plays as he madly runs around the stage. The dancers add so much energy and spirit to the production that it really would not be the same without them. Dear Netflix, this is how you change a story. Additively. Then there's the characters. Again, I cannot stress this enough. The characters are the core of any story, and you really need to think twice before changing any of them. You might think they weren't changed because of just how spookily accurate they are, especially Okabe, but they were. They were changed, but very carefully. You might notice that some of the characters, mostly Okabe, speak a lot harsher and more directly than they do in the original. This is because it isn't a movie or an anime, it's on stage in front of an audience, and just like the musical numbers, this is done to give presence to the characters, who have very little to rely on other than each other's performances. I tried to reflect this in my translation, which is why I have Okabe swear a couple times.
あのな、ちょっと天才だからっていい気になりよって、また死人な分際って。
So this probably doesn't come across quite as well on video, but you can bet this made it so much better for the audience watching it live. And while a lot of scenes were shortened or changed, most notably finding the IBM computer has been shrunk down to a flashback, every line was written faithfully to the characters. Arguably too faithfully, some of Daru's dialogue was extremely hard to translate because they gave him a lot of idiotic internet slang. Here's a fun phrase you can use to impress the next Japanese person you meet. What he's saying is buhirazaru o enai. Buhirazaru o enai. This literally means I can't help but squeal like a pig because this shit is so moe. Okay, so maybe impress isn't quite the right word here. But, you know, mostly the characters are like weirdly similar to the originals, especially Okabe, because again, this is the important part of the story.
ブラウン管が好きだから
採用またこれはコントか仕込みか
そういう君は
岡部ってんだこの上に曲がりしてるバカだよ
岡部ではない。うるせえ
家賃倍にすんぞ
Tell me this isn't Okabe. Like, goddamn. And the others also brilliantly cast. Fun fact, gravure modeling is a common way for Japanese actresses to get exposure, so most of the actors involved in this production have underwear or swimsuit pictures out there, just saying. You know, in case anyone needs to do any research into the plot of the anime. Okay, I'll stop. Just this one last pick of Kurisu. Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is that this was adapted with the characters in mind first, and now that I say it out loud, it sounds stupid and obvious, but then how do we keep getting shit like this? Like, what the fuck, Netflix? But I think there's maybe an equally important question we need to answer here. Hopefully I've convinced you that Steins Gate Living Adventure is amazing, but why is it the best one ever? First, I hope I've made this abundantly clear, but they understood every change they had to make. Every change was made strictly to suit the medium they're working with. The slight changes to the dialogue, the dynamic stage, and especially the musicality are all done because they understood that this is a stage production, not an anime, and every change they made was absolutely necessary to support the characters. This sounds simple, and it really should be, but again, Netflix, clearly the world needs someone like me to beat this horse not only until it dies, but until even cats start looking at me funny. Like, sure, you could make lots and lots of changes and still have a perfectly fine adaptation. This has been done before, but if you don't perfectly understand what you're doing, you end up with shit like Netflix Cowboy Bebop, which is just a dumpster fire in every sense of the words dumpster and also fire. Next, I want to go back to the whole stage thing. I really don't think it's a coincidence that the best live action anime of all time is actually a stage play. I mean, they took this convoluted story about time travel and conspiracies and CERN, and they stripped it down and they put it on stage, because when you put something on stage, you really don't have a lot to work with. You need good characters to make the story work. And Steins Gate, well, I really should not have to tell you that Steins Gate has great characters.
いいだろう。ではたった今から貴様はラボメンナンバー004クレスティーナだ。
ティーナも禁止。
But I'll try anyway. What is Steins Gate really about? It's not about time travel. I'm gonna point you to this video about the true meaning of Steins Gate. But first, dear Netflix, if you want to take a big W, get the rights to this production. It can't possibly be that hard. It was made 8 years ago and it's been forgotten by basically everyone involved. I will sell you my translation if you do, so you don't even need to do anything to it. So if anyone wants to watch this while Netflix stews on this fact, you can watch my fan sub right here. It's about 3 hours long, so grab some popcorn or something, but it is absolutely worth your time. I mean, I spent at least 40 hours translating it, and I'd watch it again. Hell, maybe I'll go watch it right now. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you next time.